And our third main topic today gets submitted to us by Steve Calderon, who writes, Disney released for your consideration posters of their Disney Plus shows for the 2021 Emmys. I looked at the Mandalorian poster and surprised to see Gina Carano listed for a Best Supporting Actress consideration, despite her being fired from the show. What are your thoughts on Disney still giving Carano a campaign push for an Emmy nod, even after saying they have no plans to bring her back to Star Wars in the future? All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And yeah, listen, I was really surprised the last 24 hours, Steve, the number of people who have written into me about this whole thing. Now, of course, we're getting into the season when we're getting to the preliminary stages where some for your consideration, properties are being put together, getting shipped out, getting published, all that kind of stuff. And of course, Disney puts out one for The Mandalorian. Now, for those of you who don't know, it's basically one big image that they put out, right? And it's very, very hard to read on here. But what we've got here is lead actor for Pedro Pascal, Best Supporting Actor for Giancarlo Esposito and Tamora Morrison, who of course plays Boba Fett. Best Supporting Actress for Gina Carano. And then Best Guest Actor, because remember, that's a category in the Emmys now. And they literally have about, what is it? It's like 15 names here, including literally people who had one or two lines in the series. But they just crammed in there 15 different names for consideration, including Mark Hamill. Who else we've got in there? Anyway, tons and tons and tons of names. Everybody, obviously Bill Burr. Bill Burr could have got a supporting actor nomination.
He totally should have.
He totally could have got a supporting actor. But Michael Biehn is in there. All these kind of people. So a lot of people started asking me, well, wait a minute. Why is Disney promoting Gina Carano when they fired her? Huh? How come they? Well, here's the thing. There are two ways to look at this. And Rob, I got on the phone last night with our friend Erin Cummings.
How is she?
She's doing great. She's shooting a new show. Actually, it's not a new show. It's an existing show, but I cannot tell you what show that is yet. I'll let her do that when she's on next. But I was talking to her last night, and we were talking specifically about the Gina Carano situation. And basically a couple things that have come up in my reading and research and stuff like that here too. Number one, today, a lot of actors have right in their contracts that if there is a for-your consideration, or that the studio and production company will give a little push and at least have their names included in any for-your consideration campaign material. Rob, there's a reason why on the Mandalorian for your consideration poster, there's 15 names listed for Best Guest Actor.
Yeah.
They're not really giving a push for those, but it was probably in their contracts. If we appear, list us in any for your consideration things. So I don't know that was a part of Gina Carano's contract or not. I think it's probably likely that it was. And if so, then, well, Disney's contractually obligated to put her name in there. The other thing, and this is what Aaron was pointing out to me last night, the other thing you got to consider is this, is that it's generally accepted that if you're going to do a for your consideration campaign, no matter how tiny it is, and this is one poster, Rob, but that you list everybody. You put everybody on there. I know when I get my screening Blu-rays for certain movies, they'll come in a case that has the fullest for your consideration, and they'll put everybody, not just the actors, everybody from craft services to cinematography to everything, even though they don't really believe they're going to get any chance at anything, but they put everything in there. Here's the thing. While having Gina Carano's name, Rob, pop up on the for your consideration poster has got some people talking. Oh, wow, they put her on there. Can you imagine the headlines and the talk if they excluded Gina Carano off that list? If you think there are a lot of people talking about this right now because they included her on the list, okay, that's nice. If they didn't, if they had, I always mispronounce John Leguizamo's last name, but John Leguizamo, who basically was that one guy in the makeup for one scene, And they put him on the for your consideration poster, but they intentionally, obviously, conspicuously omit Gina Carano off that list. Then what would the narrative have been, Rob? The narrative would have been, oh, look how spiteful Disney is being. Oh, look how low Disney's being. I mean, that's what the narrative would have been. So does putting her on the list with everybody else get some people talking? Oh, look, that's interesting. Sure. But Rob, can you imagine what the dialogue would have been? Can you imagine what the headlines would have been had they put every single buddy on that list and only excluded Gina Carano? It would have been totally different. So from contractual obligations to just standard practices of making sure everybody's put on there, honestly, to me, Carano being on there is this is not a story. This is standard operating procedure. I don't know, Rob, do you read more into this? How do you see it?
No, I mean, I think you nailed it when you said they would have to, if they mounted an Emmy campaign. She is one of the secondary main characters of the show, recurring. They would have to put her in for that. Otherwise, like you said, it would be very conspicuous. And with the amount of bad press it already generated, can you imagine how everyone would jump on it? I mean, you'd probably have the trades reporting it. Deadline would probably report it. Disney decides not to put up the star of their hit show that drove 100 million subscribers to the channel. It wouldn't have been a good look.
Yeah, and everybody would have gone with it in a completely different direction. And by the way,
Yep.
Rampage Predacon sends in a super chat badge in the live chat. Thank you, Rampage. Appreciate that, man. So, yeah, I mean, it's interesting, but it's expected. Of course, Gina Carano's name appeared on there. Everybody's name appears on there, and they weren't going to exclude her. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this situation? Were you surprised to see that they included Gina Carano's name on there? Would you have been more surprised had they excluded her? Which do you think would have been the bigger story? Anyway, guys, whatever you guys are thinking, jump on down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys.